Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. We're still here, with the other Minotaur. He's fun. Still, he can try to distract himself, a skill of which the immortal hybrid has become a master. There is always some leftover task in this infinite hotel, more to do than there's ever been time or hands for. Some tasks more pressing than others, and some sweeter, better kept for when one can enjoy the moment. The Minotaur's hooves stir, his legs ache in anticipation of stretching, his eyes hunger for beauty and dear memories. He knows what he wants to do. The Minotaur thinks over the and rehearses his words. Would you join me today in an exceptional task? But that says nothing. It is impolite to ask an unknown thing of someone, and so he tries again. There are many sights you have yet to see in the hotel. Would you like to join me today? But he can do better. I want to show you many beautiful and wondrous things. Would you join me? During breakfast, however, he finally laid plan falls to ruin as soon as the Minotaur takes a sip of his coffee. The air today is chilly, just enough to keep his fur standing on end, and the coffee's vapor spreads warmth across his face as a shiver climbs up his spine. Asterion leans back in his chair and speaks before his shame can take reign.
Today, I want to show you a few incredible things.
He takes another sip, unaware of what he just said. His ears flick back and forth like a hummingbird's wings. I'm already looking at something incredible. What do you have in mind? What was the last statement? What do you have in mind? Asterion finishes his coffee before speaking.
Do you recall how the hotel's translation malfunctions with computers? I might have figured out a solution to it. It'll require us to have a little adventure, however.
Where are we heading? Not out to the valley, I hope.
No, not the valley. We are going underground.
Excuse me?
You'll find out soon enough.
Come on, not even a hint? But Asterion shakes his head, lips sealed in a smile. Are we dressed enough for the occasion, at least? He's fine. Right? He's fine. He sits back and watches as you finish your breakfast. As soon as you lay your cutlery down, he's already moving towards the door. Hey, what's the hurry? I still have to assign tasks to everyone. The Minotaur digs a hoof on the floor and snorts. He waits, in anxious impatience. Thimba, what are you good at? Memento. 3 contract, 3 tech. We'll do this. Maybe. No one has like surveying. Oh, okay, so you have surveying. We'll do this, because I do... Oh, what is this? Okay, fun, staring fast. Once artifacts that improve your team's stats. Used to find raw material while exploring. Oh, I do want raw material, though. If I do this, then we get a bunch of stuff. So we have 5. I see. Yeah, that sounds fine. Confirm. Yes. Ooh, okay. After laying out the day's orders, you and Asterion head downstairs, past the ground floor into the door of the storage room, where you once found a bottle of wine.
Before we go, I should check one thing. Follow me.
He leads you inside and trots to the end of a hallway. His gaze is aimed at the glass case sitting here. Oh, yes, okay. Still suspended within it is that jagged purple rock in the vague shape of an axe head, from which a foul liquid, black and red, badly mixed together. Okay, drip down and pool at the bottom. Asterion glares at it and frowns, but relief washes over him when he sees that the padlock is intact. Okay, and the purple rock is untouched.
It's still here.
I saw it when I came down to get the wine for you. What is it?
A foul relic. Defiled and dangerous. Mr. Josh, under no circumstance should you ever touch it. The burns it will leave will never heal.
Shouldn't we keep it in a more secure place, then? Someone could just break the glass and reach it.
The storage room is only accessible to you and I, so in theory, that shouldn't be necessary.
I suppose that makes sense. Still, you didn't answer my question. What exactly is this thing? The Minotaur looks down to the floor and scratches his neck, his breathing hitched, followed by a ragged snort.
It's an old weapon, meant to be used only by very few people. It would injure you and most who try to wield it. On top of that, it was defiled. It was defiled thousands of years ago. Ever since it has seeped in this foul liquid, I've tried my best to keep everyone safe from it. I was afraid Clement might have tried to do something with it, which is why I had to check. But we can forget about that now. There are much finer things I wish to show you today.
Before you can protest or ask another question, the Minotaur comes closer and presses you to the wall. Back towards the door. The two of you go down a few more flights of stairs before setting off to explore another floor. Ahead of you is a hallway, and devoid of light as it stretches farther than you can see. What are you doing here? There's nothing ahead of us.
For now, walk with me. I shall show you many secrets.
Asterion pulls a battery-powered flashlight from his pocket. Together you press on for a minute. 2, 3. The faint sounds of the guests drifting from floor fade away, while Asterion's clopping hooves and breathing remain. Every 24 or so steps, you hear his tail swish, brushing against your side. You proceed. Your hearing becomes sharper as all distractions from the outside world disappear. But the hotel around you, and the rock from which its structure was carved, groans and creaks. The walls sometimes shift and budge, as if the very stone was compacting around you. Asterion turns his head towards you. It's difficult to see his face in the dark.
Are you afraid?
This corridor isn't exactly reassuring.
Have no fear. This place may be odd, but it holds no danger. Plus, it won't be long now. We are almost there. But if it brings you no peace, my king, then hold your warrior's hand. with my horns and stomping hooves. Stampeding hooves. I'll let no harm befall you.
You, a warrior? You're too sweet to hurt anyone. Asterion snorts, and you've become so familiar with his voice that, in only a snort, you can detect a smile plastered on his face.
Still, my offer stands. Hold on to me.
There's a hint of pride in his voice. You catch the shadow of his chest puffing up. With a half-contained giggle, you reach out and cup the middle of his tail in your hand. Your grip is gentle and loose, so that you never tug it, but strong enough for him to feel the friction. Another huff in the darkness. Even as well as you know him, you have trouble identifying the half-swollen, grumbled huff. Is this bothering you? His voice comes out low, only a notch louder than a whisper.
No. Once read that elephants, when they go around at night, they hold each other's tails to stay close. Yes, allow me to lead.
His gait becomes sluggish, as much so that you almost step on his hooves. His tail, meanwhile, twitches and jerks every few steps. His back is drawn taut, like a bow ready to fire. Weren't you cracking jokes just a minute ago? Now where's all that sass gone?
Damn. It's just my, it's...
You fondle the middle of his tail with your right hand. The left slips to the tip, grazing it with 2 fingers until reaching the fluffy tuft. Asterion's breathing hitches, and he stops in his tracks. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What a most regretful twist of events. You will accomplish nothing as long as the Minotaur is in this state. Reluctantly, begrudgingly, you let go of him. As soon as you do, his shoulders slump. Better? Come on, weren't you going somewhere? Show me the way, my valiant knight. You tap his rear to push him along. He stumbles on the first step, but gets back into the rhythm soon enough. A dozen steps later, you feel him shifting to look back at you. The darkness makes it impossible to see his expression, but his chest rumbles, or perhaps purrs, for a second before he falls into a fit of giggling.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's gotten into me. I'm so embarrassed.
Don't worry about it, you adorable warrior. That's when you notice a light up ahead, slashing through the darkness from a sharp bend to the right. Asterion's steps quicken, and you let go of him. Even if you are behind him, you can feel a smile painting his face. On the wall, you find the source of that light, a rack from which hang half a dozen strands of cloth tied into knots. From them dangles what you can only describe as a drapery of fire, or perhaps a shimmering snake. Asterion takes 2 cloth strands from the wall. He hands one to you, and keeps the other for himself.
Fear not. This flame has no heat. It can burn nothing.
What exactly is this thing? I thought entities of the labyrinth weren't allowed in here.
Think of it more as a natural phenomenon, like rain or wind, rather than a creature. As for what it is, I cannot know for sure, but I like to think even a flame can become lost from its warmth and get pulled here. Back in olden times, I used them a lot to find my way in night. Now come with me.
He leads you deeper down the hallway. The dust in the air hangs suspended. as if held in place by strings. The air is still, and yet it has a velvety sensation to it. The whole place smells like an old book printed on paper of fine pedigree, that's the word, yellowed by time and made all the richer for it. The Minotaur strolls up to a wall upon which a piece of parchment is nailed. He looks back at you. In the early 20th century, he had a handful of archaeologists who enjoyed exploring the old hotel. They delved down here a dozen times per week to study the architecture. Master Jean didn't want to open and close the doorway for them every time, and so he instructed me to leave it open for good. Just to be safe, however, I put this, contract on the wall. Oh, that was...
Just to be safe, however, I put a contract on the wall.
Oh, that was him the whole time. Fuck you. I'm not paying attention, guys. I'm not. Ooh. I was just reading. I was going. What did it do?
It tears itself in two if someone comes through. I hear without authorization.
The parchment is intact.
Oh well. I thought the Cobalt had hidden in here. Guess I was wrong. I'll have to, talk with them sometime to figure out how they got in.
You lean in close to the parchment, nailed to the wall. So, you can do this with a contract?
No, of course. It's very simple. I used to do it all the time. By the binding with the hotel's keeper, hereby a contract is established. Its sole clause is as followed. This contract shall remain intact and stuck to its place forevermore, unless revoked. Which shall only happen if and when an unauthorized person comes within 10 meters of it. As the keeper, let my will become binding. There, a self-enforced contract, just as binding as any other.
You never told me you could do that. Asterion's tail swishes behind him, almost in rhythm with his giggle.
You didn't ask, and besides, that's one of the reasons why I brought you here. I wanted to show you many secrets.
That's not an excuse. You could at least have told me you could do this kind of thing.
I am bound to obey your will, my lord, but there is no rule commanding me to tell you all that I know, or forbidding me from keeping secrets.
You don't have that yet, but what's stopping you from creating it right in this instance?
You wouldn't. You're not that kind of person.
He giggles.
Furthermore, if you command me to tell you everything I know, we'd spend the rest of our lives stuck here.
Okay, I suppose I don't have it in me to abuse my power.
You're a good one.
But you'd better tell me about all the neat things you can do with contracts. That's something I'm sure I could find a use for.
Oh, I will show you, Mr. Josh. There are so many things for you to see. Now, ready to explore the old hotel.
Asterion raises his arm, holding his length of fabric, and looks around, ears twitching, until his eyes lock onto the hallway like any other.
There, follow me.
4 times he takes a turn to the right. One would expect you'd return where you started, but instead the two of you are faced with a flight of stairs leading deeper into the ground.
Here's one little secret. The hotel shifts and folds itself in response to the people within it. If you are ever lost and want to find your way, simply take 4 turns to the right. But if you do that in specific places such as this, and if you know what you are looking for, it will lead you to certain special locations.
How did this happen? Who made it like this?
I did. I designed all of it.
That doesn't answer how you did it. Asterion sticks out his tongue.
When the master accepted my oath, they gave me the power to write contracts of my own. I don't have all the permissions you do, but I know how to use well what I do have.
Enough to fold a building in on itself?
That and much more. Now let's go. There's much I'd like to show you.
Asterion takes you deeper. Okay. Well, this is cool. I think I'll end the part here, so I will see you around, everyone.